Okay. How do you guys like that shirt? Mr. Spakaru! Mr. Spakaru! Do you guys like that little intro that I did for this lens review? The whole sequence was shot on X-T4 4K60, the anamorphic series lens, the 15mm F1.8, the wider shots is shot with the 10-24 F4. Hope you guys like that because like that was some bad color grading. I don't know. I'm not feeling the color grade. That was just a quick grade. I still don't know how to color grade. I'm working on it, so this is gonna be a progression thing. Cool? All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Tongue, and today I forgot. Oh shit. I forgot the lens. I'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is me, I am Tongue, and today I got this baby with me, the 18mm F1.4. Now I bought this lens with my own money. Fuji did not send me this. Fuji is not sponsoring this, although I kind of wish they did send me a review unit so I can just review it for you guys. Now before I begin, I just want to tell you I had this lens for a month. The reason why I bought this lens was because I want this lens to be my vlogging lens. I was hoping for something wide with an F1.4 and also something with linear motors where the autofocusing would be smooth and not as janky as the older lenses where it struggles to focus. I also miss having the 16mm F1.4, and I thought, you know what? This is only a 2mm difference and it has the linear motors for me to vlog. So I thought this could also be a good traveling lens. It was great because I took this with me to the Bahamas a couple of weeks ago. It was the only lens that I brought with me, and you know, it felt nice. More on that later though. Let's just get started. Let's begin with the build quality. So the first thing I noticed when I took this lens out of the box was its size. Everything I say is going to be compared to the 16mm F1.4 because of its similarity in focal length. And also, if you want to see my 16mm F1.4 review, you can watch it over here somewhere. As I was taking this lens out of the box for the first time, I noticed that this lens was a little lengthier than the 16mm. Where the 16mm was short and stout, the 18mm F1.4 is tall and lanky. And this is relatively speaking, of course. The all-metal construction feels nice in my hands while I was holding it, weighing in at about 380 grams. It is on the lighter end of the spectrum for me. This is great for traveling as it helps shed some weight off your camera bag. And also keeping that weight off is better for my back. I'm an old man now, jeez. Oh man, I'm so old. The aperture dial, however, feels a bit loose for my liking. I don't understand why Fuji can't get it consistent with their lenses across the boards. I know my 90mm f2 aperture ring doesn't have this issue. I actually think that it has like the perfect resistance, but this loose aperture dial can be annoying for some of you guys if it shuffles around your bag and changes the f-stop value. Speaking of loose, the manual focusing ring feels loose as well. There should definitely be more resistant to this lens overall. Whew. Fucking gnats. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill you guys. This lens also has a bottom button that you need to press in order to lock it into the A mode or the auto mode. So this is a welcome change because we didn't have this in the previous lenses. This is a good thing, so everything is locked into place, so you don't have to worry about the flimsy aperture potentially switching to a different f-stop. This lens also has the weather resistance, and for me this came in handy while I was in the Bahamas. Just for that peace of mind, I was near water a lot, but I was also very careful. But to know that this lens has that weather resistant for that random splashes kept my anxiety down. The autofocusing is good. I have no issues with it. It feels a bit faster than the 16mm F1.4, but it doesn't blow it out of the water. So this lens is a 27mm full frame equivalent, and it's a focal length that I enjoy using. And I just love how sharp my images look with this lens. While in the Bahamas, I had the opportunity to photograph the exuma pigs. They are the swimming pigs. They associate here in the boats to people having food. So they would swim out from the shore just to get some. It was such an awesome experience, and this lens was so clutch. I chose the right focal length for this scenario. It was wide enough for me to capture everything to tell the story. I'm usually shooting at 35mm, 56 or 90. That's great if you like your shots to be tight. but if you want to get a wide shot, you would have to be farther away from the action. What I like about the 18mm f1.4 is that I was close to the action. I was in it. I was experiencing the energy. The pigs were hungry and pushy. They will bite your bum if you turn your backs on them. That's how hungry they were. I also felt the energy from the other tourists. There's something about being close to the action that makes you connect with your photos a lot more. It almost feels like I'm reliving it again. The close focusing distance on this isn't as close as the 16mm, but almost close. It gets the job done. You get some awesome bokeh in the background. You can see here, I'm just taking this as a travel lens. I'm taking shots of the food and the drinks I've consumed in the Bahamas. And look how close it gets. The background just becomes very buttery smooth. And I think this could be the sharpest lens Fuji has made ever. The images that comes out from this lens just looks like it's just been cut out and plopped in on Photoshop or something. It's just that incredible. Shooting wide open is sharper than the 16mm at f1.4. I just remember my shots coming from the 16 to look a bit soft in and around the corners. But this lens right here, though, man. Also, just be careful if you're going to use this for portraits, as it could lead to distortion of the face. The face is going to look funny if you are too close to the lens. Although this is not a desired focal length for portraits, I chose to buy this lens to take environmental portraits as well. And that's because of the Leica Q. The Q has the full frame 28mm lens on it, and I really enjoyed shooting at that focal length when I had the Q. So I thought I might enjoy shooting with this lens also. It's wide enough to capture the background, and this is something that I want when I feel that the X100V is too tight in some situations. And also, the f1.4 is better than the X100V's f2, so that's also a bonus. And then once you stop it down to like f4 to f9, it is extremely sharp as a knife, man. I know these photos don't do it justice, especially with the YouTube compression and stuff, but man, when I was reviewing these images, I was so excited. Oh God. Being that this is an f1.4 lens makes this great for low light situations. Pair this up with an X camera with IBIS, you're going to have great sharp looking images in low light. So for video, I really enjoy using this lens. I used it a few times for vlog. Vlogging on this was reliable. It stuck onto my face, which is all that one could ask for. And when I was recording Jake's face moving back and forth, the lens stuck with it and it was there the entire time. For anyone that is thinking about a vlogging lens, I think this could be a lens to go for. I would say for the most part that this is a well-constructed lens minus the flimsy aperture dial and the loose manual focusing. I'm coming from a 16mm f1.4 user perspective, so when I got this lens, the first thing I noticed right away was this shoots like a 16mm f1.4. And has the same feel. Having used that lens for years and bringing it on many trips, I just feel that the 18mm f1.4 doesn't have an identity of its own. But that being said, if a lens feels like a 16mm f1.4, it's not a bad thing. The 16mm f1.4 is a fan favorite, and I'm sure the 18mm f1.4 is going to be up there. For me, you know, reading Fuji rumors, and every time Fuji announces a new lens, I get really excited. For me, I just needed to manage my expectations a bit better because I was expecting something different and I don't know what it is. Again, this is just my opinion. Just take this with a grain of salt. You know, photographers who shoot landscapes, architecture stuff, real estate stuff will probably be better off with the 16mm f1.4. They are the ones that could utilize that extra 2mm. For them, every millimeter counts. But for other things like content creation, for people who travel, I think the 18mm f1.4 is a better choice. I also believe that this lens is made to resolve more megapixels than the older lenses. The older lenses are rated for about 30 megapixels. So moving forward into the future, the newer cameras will probably shoot more than 30 megapixels. I know some will complain about how we don't need more megapixels. 24 is enough. I just don't think that's the point. Fuji is trying to sell you guys cameras, so they're going to need to up the ante and just put the latest specs to entice you guys to buy. That being said, we are due for an update. The X-T5 or the XH2 may have more than 30 megapixels, maybe it's 32 I'm hearing. And this is where the 18mm is going to be great because it is going to be future proof. Overall, I like this lens. It's one of the sharpest lenses that I've come across. I think it's battling against the 80mm macro lens for a sharp image quality. So this thing is up there. It is up there with the big boys. Bringing this on vacation was great because of its form factor. As I mentioned before, if you love shooting with the 16mm, you're going to love shooting with the 18mm. For me personally, as much as I enjoy shooting with the 18mm, feels like shooting with the 16mm. Like, why make this lens at all? It doesn't have an identity of its own. It shoots, looks, and feels like a 16mm. Does that make sense? I'm just having a hard time explaining this. Like, the 56mm F1.2, the 90mm F2, the 35mm F1.4. I just feel they all do different things and they look different and they feel different when you're using them. But this one right here, like the magical feeling, because it, you know, again, it just looks and feels like the 16mm F1.4. I'm gonna kill you. There's gnats everywhere here. If someone were to hand this lens to me on the street and told me that this was a 16mm F1.4, I would totally believe him. I would put it on my camera, go shoot with it without checking the front of the lens where you see the markings and the focal length of the lens. So yeah, like it just shoots like a 16mm F1.4. And I know I sound a little negative right now. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just gonna end this on a positive note. I enjoy using this lens, and I know you guys will too. That is it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this review. Do you guys have this lens? What are your thoughts? Let me know your comments down below. Don't forget to follow me on my social media. at Iamtongue. That is where you're gonna see my latest work. And we're almost at 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, subscribe and come join the fun, come join the community, come join the banter. I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that I would reach this type of numbers. So it's been quite a fun ride that I'm on right now. And I would like to thank every one of y'all that watches my videos. And you know, just look at this awkward Asian dude on the fucking internet talking about FujiFilm stuff. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Tongue, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Goodbye. Ooh, Mr. Spakaru, Mr. Spakaru.